Our first guest today is Carol Oliver. She is the creator and founder of Picket Fences Realty with over 32 years of experience in the industry. Carol is also an accomplished author of the Cabin series of books, which she is going to be discussing in this episode.
And joining Carol today is Fran Warner, who launched her real estate journey alongside Carol at Picket Fences Realty. With a strong foundation built under Carol's mentorship, Fran eventually ventured out independently to earn her broker's license and carve her own path in the industry.
Yeah, and then later on we'll have Carol's husband, Jack Oliver. He's our current broker, of course, of Picket Fences Realty. He too has 32 years in the industry, and he is still going strong. He's mentoring agents like me, and the dedication, the wisdom, and the passion for helping others grow in the business.
And together, Carol, Fran, and Jack form the foundation and driving force behind Picket Fences Realty, shaping it into the respected and community-focused brokerage it is today.
I'm so excited to dive into their journey, lessons learned, and some stories from the early days as we go into some real talk with Carol, Fran, and Jack. Thank you all for being with us today, and welcome to our show. So, Carol, what inspired you to create your own real estate business?
Because I didn't like the way the ones I worked for operated.
Uh-huh.
And, I just wanted people, the buyers and sellers to, be taken care of. And she worked for me. She knows.
Yeah. So,
But
Fran, So tell us, she, her inspiration, her reason for creating the company?
Carol was the most fair and honest broker I ever worked for. And we ran a good office, a clean office. We made friends with all of our customers.
That's why we got up to number one.
Yes, we did.
Very good.
Honesty
Yes,
is
we
the
did.
best policy. My dad always told me that.
Yes.
And I believed
And
him.
we did it. And we did it for
Great.
sure.
Absolutely. Here we are still today.
That's right.
It really surprised me as it grew. Like I never dreamt that it would be, but it was one of the biggest in town.
Yeah,
And
from
I-
1993.
93.
And we're still here today in 2025.
Well, I'm not old enough to be working then.
Oh, no, absolutely. Maybe I have the date wrong.
And I was Carol's first agent. Well,
Yes.
there were two of us.
Yes.
And that was a blessing because she really picked everything up fast. And, when you start out a new company, and then as an hired more and more,
Right.
they could ask her questions too. I knew she knew the answer.
So Carol, why the name Picket Fences? What does the logo mean?
Why did I name it Picket Fences Realty? Easy, because every little girl wants to grow up and have her own home with a picket fence around it. So I created one.
It is definitely, I know when I first moved
That
here
had
years
to do
ago,
with-
that your signage, everything stood out to me.
Well, I felt like it would attract, people who were selling. And in a lot of cases, the woman would step forward, and I knew the woman would choose Picket Fences Realty. And
Because of their dream.
And Chris, Carol and Jack stopped at my house when they drew the logo on a napkin at the restaurant. Do you remember that? And they stopped to let me see what the logo was going to be. And that was before I even went to work for them.
yeah.
Wow. I mean, that is a nice story. And like I said, when I moved here from New England, your signage stood out the most. I remember going to West Side and always seeing the realty signs over there by the high school.
I hear that you all had 100 listings at one time. 100 listings. Wow. That's incredible.
Can I tell them about the wallpaper story when we had
Oh, I suppose.
Yeah, tell
told a
us.
lot.
I told
We
a
want to
lot of
know
people.
now.
Yeah.
Go ahead. What is it?
Well, during those days, most houses were not $100,000. They were 30, 40, 50. And I sold or was going to sell one for $106,000.
And that was unheard
I
of.
was so excited, but she didn't like the kitchen. So I said, well, let me talk to my broker, and I think we can take care of that for you. So come Saturday morning, Carol and I were over at the house, wallpaper in the kitchen, and she had coffee for us, and then she had pizza for us for lunch.
Wow.
We stayed all day, but we wallpapered that kitchen, and they bought my
Well,
first
back-
$100,000 house.
Back
Wow.
then, wallpaper was popular, and I had already had practice in my own house.
Yeah, we both knew how to do it.
And wallpaper's coming back, so it
I'm
all
not
comes
gonna do any
full
more.
circle.
I'm not doing any more. You doing any?
Nope.
Okay, we're finished.
I'm not going to sell any more houses either.
Well, I'm not either.
It's a lot of work. It is a lot of work.
So, Carol, you're also author of a series of books, and one of them is the
I
Cabby
didn't hear
series.
you.
You're also an author of books, and one of them is the Cabin series.
Yeah,
and
right.
Could you talk about that a little and how that you
Well,
were inspired?
I met those people when I was in real estate. When I listed a house, I call it in the outback. And a story started growing in my head. I got the characters first, and then I wrote the story. And everybody wants to know who Jacob is.
Well, I'm excited because I'm definitely going to, after today, bring the first one home and start
Good.
reading.
Well, Fran, so you started out with Carol.
I did.
Okay.
She did some
I did.
editing on my book, too.
Did she?
I edited
Of course,
the
it
first
was-
one.
You know, I had to go to a professional before it was, but she had it all cleaned up.
I did.
Commas
And
in the right place.
I think your husband Chuck did some photography for the books as well. So that's very nice. So, what was it like working? I know you told us a little bit about working with Carol. So, tell me the story of how you got hired into. Well, you had another job, and then your
I
first
did.
job as a real estate agent was with them. So,
was.
tell me the story about how that came about.
Well, we had just purchased a new home, Chuck and I, and I was about ready to retire as a federal court reporter. And Jack knew that. I don't know how he and Carol knew it. I suppose we'd talked
He knew
about it.
I don't know.
And he stopped in front. I was outside working on the new house, and he stopped in front and asked if I'd ever thought about going into real estate. So I'd go in the house and bring the book out I'd been reading, and it was Robert Seminel's questions and answers on real estate. And I said, see, I'm already looking at it. Well, I don't know why, but Jack said, okay, you're hired. And I was hired.
I had to really hire you.
Yeah, Carol did it.
I wouldn't.
I had to go to school and get real estate license.
Sure.
And the next day after that, I was in their office.
I,
And
I was really careful about hiring agents as well, because it's so important for them to be honest and reliable, and I just knew she was. She's
Thank you,
too
Carol.
dipsy to be.
she loves me. You can tell she loves me.
I do. She was the best agent and I've had it. How many have I had over the
Oh
years?
my. And eventually, after 2 years, you made me office manager. And I still have the contract that she and I prepared to be the office manager. And I had the beautiful office with the glass doors.
Nice.
And you know that took a lot of pressure off of me.
That's right. It
So,
did.
Fran, how do you feel like the real estate scene has changed since you were a broker?
Oh my. It's changed a lot. I won't say terribly. It's very, very different. Computers make you crazy. I don't even like them. I want paper files and a filing cabinet, and we had all that. And there's nothing personal anymore in real estate. They send forms out. They don't go out. You don't go into people's homes and meet them.
Right.
And I made friends with my customers. I would be invited to their homes for coffee or to help them choose new furniture. And in my folders, and Carol will tell you I'm telling the truth, I had my clients and my customers' dogs' names, their cats' names.
You know, that was why we grew to be the largest company in this area.
We were
The
friends
personal
with, we were
aspect.
friends with our customers. Today they're not. They don't even go to the closings.
Yeah, and they were put first. You know, they come to us to buy a house, and we were obligated to show them anything that was close enough to be something they wanted, and not just go out and show them 2-3 houses and say which one you want to buy.
Right.
Yeah, I
None
concur
of
with
it-
the computers because it isn't personal
It's
anymore.
very
It's
impersonal
yeah.
now. It's good, I guess, if you know what you're doing, which I don't know all of it.
Now, as an agent with Picket Fences Realty, I know that we try to carry on the tradition that you have put in place with honesty and being as personable as we can in today's age. So
Yes.
we as agents carry on as much as we can with what you have put in place. Fran,
Yes.
so tell me a little bit about how working with Carol, Picket Fences Realty, your career made a change. You got your broker's license, and what happened after that?
Well, after that, after a little while, I opened a company for another person here in town, and eventually I opened my own company and had it for a few years, and it was successful because I ran it like Carol and I ran her company. And tried to be friends with everybody. And at those years, you could. People would come to visit, and we were just stayed friends. A lot of them still today, that I could call and say, "Hey, can I come over and have a cup of coffee?" And we would, or we'd go out for a cup of coffee. And now, when this company was sort of reinvented, I was told about the position of a transaction coordinator. And I said, "What is that?" Well, I was told what it was. And the person that was telling me all this said, "Well, I guess I'll see you Monday." Well, Monday came, and I came down to the office thinking, well, I must have a job. And so I did, and that was 22, I believe. And I've been here since it came back down
Right.
here. And that position is you go over everything, even anybody else's stuff. If they're typing contracts or whatever, they're handed to me and said, "Redline it." Well, redline it means if you see an error, take that red pen and mark where it is. And the realtor's side, I do check everything that comes into the office and everything that goes out and mark it approved when it closes, if everything is there that I need. And having been both an agent and a realtor, a broker,
You know
I
what to
know
look
what
for.
to look for.
Right.
So it's an easy job for me.
And we appreciate you because
Well, I know from the business she had done to start out with that 2 heads are better than one.
Sure.
And I can't be around all the time. And I checked everything that went through. She checked everything that went through. Because you don't make any mistakes in real estate.
no.
You don't. And
Can't.
that was one of the best decisions I ever made, because when I didn't find one, she found one.
Right. That's right. 2 heads are better than one.
And I know you touched base on this, but that was my next question. Any memorable, experiences with clients or colleagues that you could reflect on? And I know you talked a lot about between you two, but were there any specific clients out there that kind of?
Oh, Carol and I went into homes with a lot of people that were going to buy or did buy, and tried to help them or maybe advise them on something that they should do. She and I always just bounced things off of each other.
Right. And going by the policy, like I said, honesty is the best policy, and it worked because we grew to be the largest company in town at that time. And
We're so happy that you created this company, and we are trying to carry that tradition and that torch for you and for Jack as we move forward. And we are going to actually bring Jack, your husband, in. He is our current broker. So we're going to bring him in and talk to him a little bit. I appreciate you ladies being with us today, and we're doing our best to keep on the tradition. All right, so now we have the rose between two thorns. Jack Oliver, our current broker. We're glad to have you with us today. Something we didn't ask Carol, we also have a slogan that Picket Fences uses. Tell us a little bit about that and what the slogan is.
Okay, well, I'll back up and tie in
Sure,
the local area in her books.
sure.
And the company slogan was drawn. Cover for the first book was drawn by a junior at Eastside High School, Debbie Merrill's son.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
And when we had that done, we needed Chuck to work with, even at the beginning of Picket Fences Realty, good artwork for the stationery and so forth. So he had a friend that was a advertising type guy, and he was working on the layout for the stationery, and he said, Picket Fences Realty, making the dream a reality.
Making the dream a reality.
So he's the one that created that.
Oh, okay.
So everything about it was really, even
Local.
the editor was a former editor in New York City. She edited it. She was the real editor of the books.
Gotcha.
So it ties in, local things.
Well, since the conception, making the dream a reality since 1993, how do you see the market has changed from when you all started to today?
The market, well, that theme needs to be used by every real estate company to help their clients and customers make the dream a reality. And your biggest investment, your nicest thing you have, most people have, is their home. So you got to do it right when you do it.
Gotcha. The challenges that you met in 93 compared to now, are they similar, different? Is it just an evolution of time, or how do you compare?
The biggest difference is that people were willing to work then, and they're all lazy now. The industry has evolved into, you don't have to do this anymore, you don't have to do that anymore, you don't have to do this, you don't.
my agents weren't lazy.
Like they were talking about the personal aspect, we've lost some of that
Yes, the
with
personal
the
contact.
computers.
And agents don't even know the concept of going out and knocking on doors.
I always told my agents, when you go out to get a listing, talk to them nose to nose and toes to toes. Remember that?
That's right. And we did.
Don't call them on the phone. Don't, go see them. Let them see you and see what you're all about.
Gotcha.
They used to have to go to the office of the listing company and get the key, and then go show the house
I
and
forgot
take
to
the
tell
key
you
back.
that. Every day.
It was a lot of work involved and a lot of involvement and
Tell
willingness,
me about it.
A lot of coordination.
willingness to go out there and do your job and earn your fee.
Hit the street.
And that work going out of what the agents do has also caused the public to say, well, you don't do very much, so I shouldn't have to pay you very much.
Gotcha.
And that's what I was kind of going to go with my next question, the most pressing thing that you see the industry has right now. And I know you said, yeah, of course, there's a difference between the agents going face to face and door to door. But what do you think is the biggest thing that is?
The legalese involved, everything is more, you didn't dot this I, you didn't sign this form, blah, blah, blah. I mean, some of the biggest lawsuits now nationwide in real estate is that some form that some agent didn't get signed.
That's why we have Fran.
Right, exactly. I mean, And now that since the forms are electronic, they're not really paper, hand signed. Here it is.
Mm-hmm.
It's it doesn't look like the right signature.
Right, right, because everything's electronic for the most part. Do still have some clients who prefer handwritten, and we go out to see those, but few and far between. So, the ups and downs that you see in real estate, I know you've mentioned a few, but what do you feel in the market right now? What are our challenges? What are we seeing today as our biggest challenge?
That's back to I think honesty and no trickery on the listings, no aggrandizing what the property is.
It is what it
no,
is. So
no photoshopping a poor picture into something that looks better.
gotcha.
Do you have a favorite story or a client that you kind of reminisce on or think about at times?
Yeah, lots of those.
I have a lot of favorite stories about real estate.
I know you mentioned
The-
the 100
the
100 listings.
The 100 listings.
Mhm.
Okay. If you want to hear that story.
Yeah, let's hear it.
A lady was working in a daycare center in Morgantown. She lived in Morgantown. Her husband was the pole vault coach at the university.
Mm-hmm.
She had a friend that she was with pretty often, and they were pals.
Mm-hmm.
And that friend got a real estate license and started being in real estate.
Mm-hmm.
So this woman's name was Cindy, and Cindy was still at the daycare center. And she had this friend that kept telling her how things were in real estate and how much money she made in real estate.
Uh-huh.
Well, Cindy didn't really need the money, but she wanted to get involved in the activity.
Mhm.
So she contacted us, and she went to our school and got her license. And at first we were telling her, you live in Morgantown, you ought to really be in Morgantown working. But she wanted to work at Picket Fences Realty in Fairmont, so she came to all the meetings. She was getting started in real estate, but she'd had her license for several months, and she hadn't done anything. So that friend met her one day and said, what have you been doing? How you making any money? She said, zero. Zero? You haven't done anything? Well, here's a phone number. You call this people, and you might be able to get a listing from it. So it wasn't really a good lead, but it was the lawyer's office for the woman who was getting a divorce from her husband. And he said, I work for the wife. What you're talking about is the husband's side of this thing.
Mm-hmm.
So you need to contact the man that's in charge of that. Well, she found out that man was an attorney in Clarksburg, and he had been appointed by the court to dispose of this man's property,
Mm-hmm.
hire an agent and whatever, and get the property sold. So he talked to Cindy and made arrangements for her to go up for an interview. And she was so green, she knew she couldn't do that. So Rick Henderson was working at Picket Fences at that time. That was his first time at Picket Fences Realty.
Oh, okay.
He went with her to Clarksburg to meet that lawyer.
Mm-hmm.
And so happened that the lawyer had read all of Carol's books, for one thing.
Wow.
wow.
Nice.
And so he had some connection, and so
Mhm.
he told her that they invited several real estate companies to come and meet with him and do their pitch.
Mm-hmm.
And they went and did that, which Rick did most of the talking, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And then he gave him the assignment that you need to write a letter telling me why I should hire your firm.
Mm-hmm.
So she had her husband write the letter. Carol and Fran, I think, worked on it and edited it and made some corrections to it. I suggested that they add in there that we had a school, real estate school,
Mm-hmm.
and that real estate school allowed the company to keep agents up to date on everything.
Current. Mm-hmm.
So Rick and Cindy went back and they got the job, and he said, you have to sell 2 properties in 3 months, or I'll have to consider withdrawing the job and giving it to somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
They had 3 under contract in 3 weeks.
Nice. Wow.
Wow.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
They sold them all in like
Wow.
2.5 years.
Wow.
That's an achievement.
10% commissions.
What?
Oh, yeah.
Commercial property.
Yeah.
They were farmed. They were all farms,
Oh, wow.
basically.
Wow.
In 5 counties.
Wow.
Fantastic.
And
Fantastic.
Cindy divided them up amongst all the agents.
Mm-hmm.
So
Wow.
that out of that 100, we probably had 8 agents, and they each got about a dozen of those.
Wow.
Well, Jack, Carol, Fran, we're so glad you all stopped by today and told us the story and the history of how we began Picket Fences Realty back in the day in 1993. I hope that you enjoyed your time here. And is there anything else you want to say before we sign off today?
But the only thing I was shocked at how large that company grew.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I just went out and knocked on doors and got listings, and you know, never waited for people to come to me.
Right.
And as we sold and the agents did a good job, the company grew to be really a big,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how it's doing now, I stay away from it.
You're retired.
Yeah, I'm a writer now.
I'll tell you more about the sign if you want to know more about
Please
the sign.
do.
Definitely.
Please do.
Yes, as I was taking her on book signings and so forth, and reading in restaurants, we would talk about those things, and I would draw the sign that she described on the napkin in the restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
And then we got the first listing, which was in Worthington, a little house in Worthington. That Carol wondered how fast she would. It had been on the market for a while. She wondered how, we're really going to be able to get this moved, and they got it sold real quick, like. And then we had to actually get a sign made. So I had a client of mine at the machine shop to make this first structure of the sign, a steel sign. I didn't consider that they would make the heaviest sign in the world.
They were.
They
That's a small agent in their company. I
Actually,
couldn't even budge one.
Right.
to be clear, that sign came a picture in my mind.
Mm-hmm.
I saw that sign. It just said Picket Fences Realty to me.
Mm-hmm.
And then I told him, and he had someone.
Here we are.
Yeah,
Making the
and
dream a reality.
Chris got into it a while ago. People could see that sign for blocks away.
Yeah.
They didn't need to know what the lettering was. They just knew that's another one of those picket fences signs.
It's very distinctive.
Very.
Right.
It is.
People listed with Picket Fences Realty because they liked the sign.
They like the signs.
They knew it would draw attention being put in their yard. And I was just astounded how successful how quickly the company grew, and she had a lot to do with it.
Thank you,
She
Carol.
worked hard, but don't tell her I said that.
Well, I definitely think also the behind honesty and do the right thing, because I actually worked for W. Clement Stone for Combined, and you guys remind me his philosophy of being honest and doing the right thing because it's the right thing to do.
Well, we appreciate y'all being here today.
Thank
It's
you.
So
And I want y'all to read my books.
I definitely am. I'm
Absolutely.
excited about that, actually.
And you'll be asking me what everyone else does.
I
Who is Jake?
probably will.
That's a wrap for today's episode of Real Talk with the Pros. I'm Tammy Halford with Picket Fences Realty.
And I'm Chris McLaughlin.
If you've got questions for our expert guests or a wild real estate story of your very own, send them our way. We might use them next week on our episode.
Don't forget to subscribe so you'll never miss an episode of real advice and insights that only happen when the mics are hot and the pros are in the room.
Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time on Real Talk with the Pros, where the only thing we're flipping faster than homes is your perspective.